Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BT Talks episode 29. Today I have the pleasure of having my good friend Margot Ettedgui. She's a mortgage loan originator, an entrepreneur, a social media rock star. There she is. She's pretty quick. So she's going to join. We're going to have a great conversation. There she is. I see Emma just joined. Thank you for joining. There she is.
Hi.
Good to see you, Margot. How are you?
Nice seeing you.
Always full of color, Margot.
Always full of color. Yes, I like to bring color in a place where it kind of tends to be black and white, you know?
Very good. So for those who don't know Margot, Margot is a mortgage loan originator. She's based in Miami. She is the managing director of Financial Triangle, which is her father's company. So it's a family business. She's been in this business for about 5 years, I believe. And she's, just an awesome person. She's an entrepreneur. She's killing it on social media with some top-notch content, educational content. And she's going to, introduce herself and tell us her journey to where she is today.
Yeah. Hang on. Sorry, you guys.
Go ahead.
So basically, I started about 5 years ago. I was working my way into the fashion industry at the age of 14 and went to the University of the Art Institute here in Miami to try to learn even more about fashion and to really see if that was going to be the direction that I wanted to go. I'm so sorry, my dog is just... Baba,
okay. The
you
dog
can say hi. It's cool. We
the dog can say hi.
I'm sorry. I'm going to put him away. Sorry. Come on.
No worries.
I knew I should have done that before. My apologies. Dogs are very needy.
It's all good. It's part of it.
Yeah. So basically, like I was saying, I started into the mortgage industry about 5 years ago. I had been working for a long time in the fashion industry in every realm of the retail space, from sales associate to stock manager to franchise manager. And I just, at the end of the day, when I started to turn 2021, I was just like, I felt like there was something that I was missing, something that wasn't fully fulfilling my life, and something that I could feel that it could really give me the lifestyle at the end of the day. Was my goal to have the lifestyle that I really wanted. So that's when I started to look a little bit more into the real estate and mortgage industry and worked my way from an entry-level position as an assistant processor to really get my hands dirty and understand what it's like to put together a loan and what it's like to speak and communicate to all the people in the industry, and work my way up. Once I was licensed and I had been working for about a year, I went ahead and made the move over to Beverly Hills to reopen the offices over there, as well as expanding over to London and New York. So it had been a very eventful couple of years, and it's been an amazing experience. And then more so recently with social media is very new, I think, for everyone, but for me,
everyone,
it's brand new.
It's constantly changing, and I think, we have to adapt almost every week, I'd say, maybe every day, I don't know, but it's like, very different. But I think what is very interesting is that, in very little time with social media, and I want to emphasize on the importance of it, whatever industry you're in, whether it's, being a real estate agent, being a mortgage loan originator, starting a business, whether you're in fashion or anything, if you study it and understand it and connect with the right people, especially in these times where we're pretty much all the time on our phones or pretty much like, home, or, we're looking at different things. I think there is something very powerful if you use it right. And that's what you've done, which during a pandemic, you just got really creative. And I was like, wow, this is super cool. And it's been working really well. So you started with TikTok. And then, you're continuing also with Instagram, which grew tremendously. But TikTok was kind of the starting point, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of became, so tell us how it all happened.
I think like a lot of people in the beginning of the pandemic, we were all kind of on standby. We didn't really know how long we were going to be in quarantine. We didn't know how to properly structure our days. We didn't know what kind of budget we had to allocate for things like marketing. My business was pretty much up in the air in the beginning of the pandemic because everything was just...
But I think for a lot of people, so you have reinvent
For sure.
it. Yeah.
And so for me, it was a moment of having my back pressed against the wall and having to think completely differently to be able to survive in this industry. And I knew that I had something different, and I knew that I wanted to work differently than the people in my industry. So I just kind of started to create the kind of branding that not only who I am, and which is very easy to see as far as my personality is concerned through video, we could see in a few seconds what kind of person you are, what kind of information you're giving. And so I felt the need to create content I never had before. And in the beginning, it was really more so for fun, to make the time pass. And I started to realize and to develop what I call a viral formula. And my formula in creating viral videos is something that anybody can do and try.
Of course, yeah.
And those are 3 elements. You have to entertain, educate, and inspire. And if you can do those 3 things in a piece of 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and capture their attention, and not only laugh with you, but learn something with you and feel inspired, that is virality in itself. That I think is the definition.
And on top of that, I think it's also really being yourself, because I think we can be inspired by different, entrepreneurs in our industry, other industries, but the key is really being yourself, and like you said, entertain, educate, and the third one was
inspire.
Inspire. There you go.
Yeah.
So those are the three key words if you want to, really start building, good content, good audience.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello, Carrie. Good to see you there.
It was awesome. I got to meet her
London.
in London right before the lockdown started, so it was really great. I had a great time in London.
Yeah. So those are really important. And then obviously another point, which is very important, which you've been very good at, is consistency. So you were never discouraged. You continued building content, and even if you didn't have any, likes or follows, all these things, you were like, I have something to bring to the table. And actually it was very rewarding, because from what I understand, after a few weeks, a few months, you had a lot of people reach out to you, and you inspired actually people to do what you do. Yeah. You got new clients, you got different things, and that's through, short content that's inspiring.
Yeah, short form content I think is revolutionary. I think that while more people are spending time on electronics, our minds are starting to, at least the attention span, is starting to shorten. And I don't think people actually realize that. But people are able to consume and completely understand something in a matter of 3 seconds. 3 seconds is the average amount of time that people are able to make a decision right then and there. Whether it's the first 3 seconds of meeting someone, first 3 seconds of looking at a piece of content, they're going to make their decision of whether they want to stay for another couple seconds, follow you, bash you, whatever the case may be. So, again, there's so many of us, whether it's real estate, mortgage, whatever it is, there's so many people on social media. And honestly, people can see very quickly if you're being honest or not. The consistency and that matter of knowledge and the matter of entertaining and the matter of relatability is another big factor for me. I think is what sets people apart as far as, I'm going to follow this person and I trust this person.
And I think it's also, showing your personality. I mean, I'm not as big as you are on social media, but I use it, my own way. And I think, people see my personality, who I am, what I do. And it's nice, I'm in real estate, and yes, I do show some properties, but I also try to do some different types of content through stories. I also started, on TikTok. It's growing, but I'm doing, what's good, what I feel good about. Then it's about consistency, and then people see it, and then they just, they love it or not, and that's okay. There will be people who love what you do, some not, and then you build some form of trust. So it's like, okay, Ben or Margot or whomever is out there. I like this person. I'm gonna reach out and maybe we can work together. Maybe I have someone to refer. And I think trust is like, you can gain trust without knowing a person through social media.
Absolutely. Trust is the key word in all of this. I think it's the only thing that is going to be the deciding factor for someone to want to do, something with another person, whatever that may be, right? If you trust that person, you're more than likely going to want to go very far with that person in whatever industry that is.
Of course. So in your industry, in the mortgage industry, So you're differentiating yourself with, just being yourself and creating top-notch content through the different platforms, Instagram and TikTok. Recently, like during the pandemic, have you had any, new clients or people that really were, great messages, something that was very rewarding by doing it?
Yeah, I think that the whole experience for me has been rewarding. I only just started in the beginning of June. That's when I really started to create educational content on TikTok and allowed myself to see, I think I have something and let me just keep going with it and keep going with it. And I think that it's very important, like as far as, understanding what you have. And when I was getting messages from people that were like, I didn't even know this was an industry that existed, and I didn't know that there was a possibility other than what I knew. And it is amazing, I think, to open up someone's world to a whole new world that they didn't even know was out there and possible. Going a little bit further back into just my education itself, I went to high school, but I dropped out my junior year because I was like, this is not the direction that I want to be
That's okay.
in.
Everybody has their own direction. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I left high school to go to college thinking, oh, I need to go into college. I need to study fashion. I think that that's what my direction is. Well, it turns out that didn't work out either, and I dropped out of college. And people need to know there are options out there. You don't have to go through the traditional ways of getting the traditional education, doing business traditionally. It doesn't work that way
That's
you
what I
can
see.
really do anything you want. Yeah.
I see a lot of people, whether it's, again, I'm going to take the two main platforms. The other platforms we can talk another day because LinkedIn, Facebook are very good, but for different purposes. But I think that TikTok and Instagram, there's a big audience, especially young people, and they're building, 6-7 figure businesses through social media.
Right.
And whether it's, selling coaching programs, whether it's fashion, whether it's real estate, mortgage, there's all these things, and they're, really, really creative, and, people connect with them, and they're doing very well.
Yeah, and as you were saying, just going back as far as just like the platforms and all of that, something that I realized for me, when I started like my career, my first real client that I was like, this was my client that I got with no one's help, that I got strictly from organically networking, and going out there, was a very young actor. And so when I realized, okay, like this really is my niche, is helping young entrepreneurs, finding possibilities and obtaining financing for real estate that they didn't know was possible. At the time, he was 22, 23, which was about my age at the time as well. And he had been renting for so many years and was frustrated dealing with landlords. And, so it was something that I had connected with. I had been living on my own since 17. I had gone through many terrible landlords, and I wanted and needed help. How to buy a home? How did that work? And when I realized that there was a whole new breed of people out there, of a generation that had figured out how to generate income, whether it was through acting in Hollywood, whether it was through YouTube, whether it was through
anything. YouTube now, people are making
hundreds of thousands sometimes a month. You know what I mean? And they need help. They need to understand how to structure their finances and how to go further from that. So, they've learned how to leverage social media. I teach them how to leverage money. So it's a win-win.
So now tell us a little bit about Financial Triangle. So your father started the company.
My father started the company 29 years ago, and it is a real estate and mortgage division that we have. Financial Triangle is the mortgage division, and that's where I'm situated and where I manage the Department of Financial Triangle. We started, and we still are, a non-traditional based brokerage, which means we really specialize in doing the kind of financing that people don't typically do. So
more creative. You guys are more creative.
More creative. Yeah, more creative. And originally, more so than that, being that my father is French Moroccan and speaks all the different languages, and with all of the kind of foreigners that he's surrounded with, we really did pioneer the whole financing with foreigners in the US 29 years ago. And that was also something that I do as well and still do, because I speak French. And I connect with all the other colleagues that I have in my company to be able to refer them to whatever other languages, best fits the client. So that's kind of where we started, and we really started to become known to make the impossible possible. Whether that was the client went to the bank and didn't qualify for financing, so they needed to get a creative route, whether that's a bank statement program or a P&L. There's so many programs. I mean, I can go into it all day, but that's kind of what we started. We really started to make a name for ourselves and to build what we call a niche. So that non-traditional based financing is what we've been known to do and what I still do now. So now that I do educate such a much wider audience and I get to teach them about all kinds of financing, whether it's traditional or non-traditional, I still like to stay true to who I am and the kind of people that I like to work with. And those are the young entrepreneurs that have made a huge way of living. Yeah, a new way of living and need a new way of financing to go with their new lifestyle.
So you have, as an audience and also as clients, you have people who are just, starting and have the possibility of buying a home, and you can educate them on different ways to do it. But you also then have foreigners, whether they come from France, from the UK, from Israel, from China, from all over the world, because as we know, it's not always easy if you're a foreigner to, buy property in the US, but if you're with the right people, if you work with the right people, and you have that person right here, Margot, they can be very creative, and whatever the amount they want to finance, you guys come in, and that's where you make it happen. And
it's definitely pretty amazing if you think about it, right? As a foreigner, even you or I, we go to a country that we're not from, and we're walking around and we fall in love with a piece of real estate. To know that you can obtain financing, even if you're not part of the country, you don't file taxes, you don't have a social security, is pretty amazing. Just, that notion and that concept in itself. And there are countries out there like China and other countries where they are not ever allowed to own real estate. So the concept of owning real estate. Sorry,
it's all good.
Yeah. So I was just saying that basically it's phenomenal to be able to offer to someone that didn't know was possible that you can leverage money in a country that they're not even from, and they can have the same kind of ownership benefits that us as Americans and share the American dream, as we like to say.
Yeah, and I think the American dream, it is for a lot of people around the world, regardless of what's going on, there's a lot of possibilities in the US, wherever you are, whether you're in New York, in Miami, in LA. It's true now there's a lot of people coming, to South Florida for the lifestyle and the tax reasons, and you can save a lot of money on taxes. That's a big thing. We even have people from California that are coming. But I think it's very important. There you go. Yeah, Margot is originally, you're born in LA, right?
Yeah, born in West Hollywood, and it's honestly like where I feel home. Every time I go there, I'm like, why do I have to leave? But I know why I have to leave. I left because honestly, in Florida, you can be a homeowner at a young age and not have to feel like you're completely spending all your money.
And you also have the same thing, and you can also have a quality lifestyle. You can travel easily.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So how do you see the future of the industry, mortgage industry, real estate industry over the next few years? Because it's changing a lot. You can't really predict, but you can kind of have an idea of what's going on. I know yourself and myself, we're always looking at the trends and seeing what's going on and how it's going to be, within the next year, 2 years, 5 years. What's your perspective on the future of the industry? Where is it going?
I think that we've all been seeing it, and we all knew it was coming, but the industry is going virtual and digital. And I think that, the people that are going to pioneer what we call digital real estate, which is social media, and it is leveraging all the platforms and having a really well-known brand for yourself and a trust that people can connect and establish with. I think that's really what's changing the game. You may know in the real estate industry, there are brokerages now that are fully digital, 100% commission. You just log into your computer, get into your portal. Right, there's we call them EXPs. So it's already going in that direction. And I think that it's, it is, like you said, changing every day, and it's getting faster, and it's moving faster in that direction because digital is the way of the future. It's the fastest way to get from point A to point B. It's the fastest way to connect to someone. And people want things now. People want things instantly, and they don't want to wait anymore or take the risk because of what's going on out there in the world to do things in person. People want that on demand.
But that's why it's important to really build your personal brand, regardless of the agency you're working in real estate or mortgage, agency. And then, there's a lot of other companies like EXPs. There's another company called Side. There's a variety of companies that offer an incredible platform. And there's big agents that move to those, digital new agencies because you can pretty much manage everything from your laptop anywhere in the world. So that's a major change that's coming over the next.
Which makes sense too, if you think about it, right? I mean, you and I, we do so much of our own marketing, our own branding. At one point, when you become so big that you figured it out on your own, you figured out your formula, you know what kind of people you like to work with.
Of course.
It makes sense to be like, well, I'm already working from home. I might as well have my own, digital brokerage. So it makes sense. And I think that right now, the future in every single industry is all about efficiency, virtual,
100%.
Digital, and instant.
So, it's like, Daniel Daggers always says, it's super important to have your digital footprint. And that's been, for a while. But then on the other hand, I think, there's a lot of things that are going to be digital, but we're still humans. So we need to, speak with people, meet people, obviously, right now, we're careful, but the human element, I don't think that we're not going to disappear. People are going to, we need just to be efficient, productive, and everything, with all technology, innovation, productivity tools, we're going to simplify our client's life. We're going to simplify our life, So that's really how I see things over the next few months and few years.
Definitely. And I always try to bring a human interaction, even though what we do is virtual, and yes, they can see us, and yes, they feel like, oh, okay, yeah, she's there. But at the end of the day, when someone inquires about a mortgage, I always try to reach out to them via text, via email, and try to connect a voice, a one-on-one connection, so that they feel that they're really obtaining a service of a human-to-human relation. Because like you said, at the end of the day, people are so weary and confused about, what's out there. Is that information correct? Is she saying the truth? And like you said, the digital footprint is extremely important because, like we were saying, that digital real estate is what's going to allow people to make their own decision on whether they're going to want to work with you or not.
For sure.
Just like how now when you go to a restaurant or something, right, you check the reviews. You go online, you go on the Instagram,
it's all about the reviews. The reviews are super important, and that's how you also get referrals. I mean, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So
for me, like it's been more important to actually make connections with other agents and other people in the industry to see how we could work together and change it together, and not just one person doing their own thing on the side. So that's been pretty amazing, I think, about the whole digital connection, how fast it's going.
Yeah. So before we finish this conversation, I have a question. So obviously, as entrepreneurs, we all kind of are connected to, let's say, personal development through all forms. I think it's very important because it helps us keep going, whether it's through reading books, Audible, podcasts, YouTube videos, all these things. Do you do personal development? Do you have any recommendations of books, podcasts, anything that has helped you or inspired you? Or you just like, you don't really do that and you're more like, I just do my own thing, which is cool.
It's so awkward because I can't hide and lie and be like, oh yeah. No, I don't. I don't, unfortunately. I don't listen to podcasts and I don't read books and stuff like that. I honestly get inspired by all my surroundings, whatever that may be. Let's say I'm going to take an hour to decompose and relax around 7 o'clock at night and I watch a movie. I may be triggered and inspired off a scene I watched in a movie.
That's a good one.
Like, oh, I have an idea and I'm going to go and make all these videos about it. And I get really inspired by and my surroundings and the people that I talk to. I have been a little bit more so on YouTube here and there, but it's not, I don't think, I just think that when I try to compare myself to other entrepreneurs or I try to take from other entrepreneurs, it's not the same, it's not me, it's not as organic, so I don't, I unfortunately don't do enough.
But that's cool. But I always like to ask this question because I know, there's a lot of people who do that and then some don't. But it's part of the journey, how we built our business, where we get inspiration. So
definitely.
it can be very simple watching a movie, or it can be actually just having a walk, you know, in front of the water or something like that. So,
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
All right, Margot, thank you so much for being a
Do you want to answer
guest.
some of the questions that are in the chat?
I saw, so there's a few questions we can answer. Where's the, so hold on.
Let's look through them.
Because we have to go through the, let's see, do you see the question?
I love answering questions.
There you go. Okay, there's billionaire, playboy, so let's see. Can you answer this one? How to get an apartment complex owned at 19 with okay credit and no capital, 53 plus units.
53 plus units is huge because anything over 4 units is what we consider commercial. So when you're in a commercial kind of a deal and you have okay credit and no capital, you're going to need investors to come in on there with you, especially 53 units. Think about it as a perspective for a second. Let's put logic thinking on, right? If you're a bank and you come to me and say, I've got okay credit, I've got no capital, no experience on managing any units, but I want to purchase 53 units. You better have something to back you up. You better have something to hold and make sure that you have.
You got to start small.
Experience. Yeah, I definitely think start small. And if you're looking to get into something big like 53 apartments, because someone just said, what are units? If you're looking to get into that, I suggest you stay within the 1 to 4 units. So, you know, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, those are great, those kinds of duplexes, triplexes, because with okay credit and not a lot of capital, you can purchase those kinds of properties with little down, close to 3%, 5%. You know, if you qualify for a down payment assistance program, then there you got it with no capital. So there are a lot of options for you. Grant Cardone, 3 units, that's it. Listen, I don't follow.
You've been doing that for a long time.
So, you know, I just. Yeah. But again, Grant Cardone, going back to that for a second, Grant Cardone is actually doing exactly what I explained in the beginning, right? He pools money from investors to be able to purchase things like 53 units without any capital.
Exactly.
So you could do that. You could very well team up with other investors and say, hey, I have this great idea. I found the location. You know, so you're coming in there with insight, a little bit of market research, something that you can offer to the table. And then, yes, you could use other people's credit to leverage and purchase things like big apartment buildings.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You gotta start small, and then
you gotta start small.
Little by little, you can grow your real estate portfolio. And that's how a lot of people, you know, built a big real estate portfolio across the U.S. and even across the world. You know.
And so where to find investors? Honestly, everywhere and anywhere. Social media could be your best friend on this kind of stuff. Again, if you do the market research and you post and you explain about this 53 unit building that you found and that there's so much return and there's look at the market research and whatever the benefits are, believe me that people will want to join in on you and want to do it. And again, just on this kind of particular example, because it's so large, I would try to find an investor who has had experience with dealing with rentals, because you have to think about it. That is 53 individual apartments that you need to be responsible for water, damage, collecting the rent, whatever it may be. It's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. It's a very lucrative way to do it. I think it's fantastic to want to purchase multifamily. So I definitely suggest for everyone, if you have the opportunity to purchase a multifamily or to team up with investors to do so, it's a fantastic way to get your foot into the entrepreneurial world.
To sum it up, I think it's very, very important to be extremely knowledgeable on, you know, whatever, you know, building or area you're looking at, and then either, you know, within your sphere of influence, or, you know, you can look through different social media platforms, but you have to, you know, bring something of value. I always talk about, like, value is super important. And this is valuable for real estate, but for all sorts of business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. Do you have anything else?
I wasn't able to go through.
Wow.
Yeah. How to find clients for a digital marketing agency. Right now, guys, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, social media is your best friend. And in the beginning, why Benjamin and I were talking a lot about TikTok and Instagram is because if you want to take me as an example, someone who had 0 followers on TikTok and about 1,000 followers on Instagram from June until this point, I managed to grow 250,000 followers on TikTok and close to 30,000 on Instagram. And that was all from just creating content.
And it's organic, just to make it clear, it's organic.
It's organic with not one penny spent. And that kind of organic reach is not possible unless you put in, you know, what you think is relatable, what you think is entertaining and educating and fun and connecting with all those other people. Because I do have a lot of friends who are and own digital marketing agencies, and the things that they do on social media are incredible. I think his name is Gerardo Perez, for whoever asked about the digital marketing agency.
Okay.
He also has a very large following on social media and teaches other people who are looking to grow digital marketing agencies, because I think that that's definitely the way of the future. I think no matter what kind of industry you're in, for example, me in the mortgage industry, I love to work with digital marketing agencies, because if you are studying algorithms and you know what's going on in this new digital world, then you're going to have, you know, that foot further than the rest in being able to guide other people and provide that kind of value that people need right now.
If you understand, you know, social media science, if I can say,
yes.
I think you're ahead of the game, and it's just the way the world works today. You know, it's just, you can't go without it. It's just, you know, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, it's you have to understand it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, you don't have to feel like it's rocket science. You don't have to make it overwhelming. I think that, you know, just follow along. If for example, how to spot a trend. If you see something pop up more than 3 times on your For You page or your Explore page, more than likely there's a trend going on, and it's something that you can put your own twist on it and make it into your own viral trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to worry about like fully studying all the algorithms, because they're constantly changing. And social media and the way that it's been configured, it really is like artificial intelligence, and it's learning how we are using it. And so it's constantly evolving. And so there's no way to fully know how the algorithms are working, because if you can figure it out, then they're already changing that. Yeah. So
we're going to answer our last question, because
yeah,
we're running on time. So Angel has a question. Can you grow credit if you are under 18?
Yeah, so there definitely is not that many options under 18 on how to grow your credit, but really the only way possible under the age of 18 is to be a co-signer on your parents or anyone over the age of 18. So if you have a parent, an older sister, someone over the age of 18 that will allow you to be a co-signer on their credit card, then I would definitely ask and suggest to tag on to their credit so that you can build credit along with them. And so once you turn 18 and you want to open a credit card or you want to do something to better your credit, you'll have something, some sort of history to show that someone has been building credit on your behalf. So that's really the best way to do it, is to ask your parent, guardian, or anyone over the age of 18 that will allow you to be a co-signer on their credit accounts.
There you go. Margot, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic conversation.
Yes.
Great audience as well. And guys, if you don't know Margot, please make sure to connect with her on Instagram. She's also on TikTok. Yep. Just feel free to DM her. I can send you her information as well if you have any questions on mortgages or, you know, anything on, you know, buying property. In Miami, in the US, we're available, both of us.
Yes, I can definitely help in anywhere: Florida, New York, Texas, yep, and California. And that goes for anyone who's looking to purchase real estate, a foreigner who wants to invest in the US, get a little bit of insight, or even, you know, the young entrepreneurs out there who are making a great living on YouTube and all those things and don't know that it's possible. It is possible, and we can definitely help you make that happen.
There you go. All right, thank you so much. Guys, thank
Merci.
you. Allez, merci
Au
beaucoup.
revoir.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.